Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I'm your host, your purveyor of all things dorky within the scope of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I am Grum. It is good to have you, good to see you, good for you to be seen and be heard. We're here, live. Well, not live, but we're here Mondays on Dork Side of the Ring, dorkside.tv, where you can find a YouTube Dork Side of the Ring Dork Side of the Ring podcast on your Apple and Spotify feeds. I'm working on that because now I'm doing video, so it's weird now. It's a little bit weirder. It's a whole lot more fun. Hey, it's good to see you. Welcome in episode 80. Episode 80. It's a good one. The Fish Market Street Fight match. It's a good one. It's myself, Johnner, and the Uncle Chet with the bad back, Uncle Chet Ripley. It's a fun one. This is a good one, mainly because this is one of those, so I watched it live when I was in, 2008, so 16. Watched it live. Loved TNA. Loved Total Nonstop Action. Love it. And this is, right around the time where I was, just really kind of diving headfirst into making sure I didn't just watch WWE, right? I was on the wrestling internet boards. I was doing e-fetting, things like that, and I was like, all right, let me make sure I'm watching other things. So in 2008 I'm watching TNA, Ring of Honor. I had already kind of been watching Ring of Honor and Chikara and TNA, but this is when I'm like, all right, I'm gonna really get into it. I'm gonna watch I'm gonna start watching little things, right? I'm gonna start watching the little shows that I hear about or find out about. And I'm spoiled rotten because during that time, being in the Philadelphia area is really good because, like I said, you got Ring of Honor regularly in Philadelphia. You've got Chikara. You've got CZW. You had a smorgasbord of shows and companies that would work within an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. It ultimately is just really good for any fan that I got turned 16. I was like, oh, I could drive to myself, just drive after the curfews and don't tell the state of Pennsylvania I did that. But it's good times. Also, this episode, let's see, is coming out. So already there is on the YouTube, same YouTube, I did a predictions for AEW Revolution, including some betting things, because fuck it, why not? It's a little fun flavor. It's better, to me, it's fun because you can actually, be like, hey, this is where, Vegas is also leaning towards, where they're like, oh, hey, this is where we think the story goes, which is kind of interesting, because meanwhile, in terms of, football or soccer or other sport or just any other sport, Vegas odds are these are the people who we think, based off of these metrics that we have created, we think they will win by this much, or we just think that the odds are so heavy in their favor, they are favored to win multitudes of this. And I think with wrestling, it's interesting because they're not doing who we think is going to win because of a metric, but their metric is more of a feel. Hey, this is where, the story has kind of brought to, it has kind of lent itself to this. And we're also going to pick from history of stories and things. So I think it's kind of cool. I was looking at it I think Moxley and Hangman were pretty close. I think Moxley was plus 260. Or maybe it was Starks and Jericho were close in terms of bet. One was I think Starks was favored by Bet Online and Chris Jericho was not. So would have been interesting. To me, I'm all right, that's kind of cool. But I also threw on prop bets, So how many the 60-man Iron Man match. I'm recording this, but obviously before, so I don't know exactly, how many. But I think there's not going to be many. I think there's going to be less than 3. I think there's going to be, or I should say, 3 or less. So, I set the line at, 3.5. I think that's if you look at Iron Man matches throughout history, most of them have been 2-1, or, 3-2, 2-1. I mean, there's been ones like, Cena Orton was like 6-5. I think The Rock and Triple H was like 5-3. There've been like 3-1s and stuff like that. Where there's been a lot of, you obviously do close, but there's been a couple. Yeah. My whole point is, I don't think there's going to be a lot. I think this is actually going to be a low fall. I think it was should have been a low fall or was, and I was either correct or wrong. I'm not going back to change this because it's going to be going off at midnight, probably on Sunday. So I'm not going to come back and redo this to see if I was right. Anyways, but I just like that. So go check that out. That's on the YouTube Dork Side of the Ring podcast on YouTube. It's good stuff. I appreciate it. What else do I have? I mean, I don't know. We were talking about, I don't know what else is going on discourse-wise in pro wrestling. It's not that it's not quiet, not that it's quiet, but it just feels like a lot of the stuff is, like, people were talking about, like, recently we were talking about, actually, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Dynamite this past week, or last week, whatever, was the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and like the production did a bad job in not making everybody look like a goddamn smacked ass because they had 6 referees holding a busted ass ladder while Hobbs, who was 3-something, 300 pounds of muscle, had to go to the very top of the ladder to get the ring. My whole thing is, production wise, AEW continues to like remind me just how good WWE is at this. And obviously WWE, production-wise, has so many years ahead of everybody. But it's like, y'all don't have like, there should be a ladder that's for him to climb to win. Also, why are your ladders all short? Also, like, why is your production having this wide, like, who is in the truck? And they see there's 9 referees holding, the ladder so it would be steady. And decide, let's get this shot that includes this. And they've done this before. It's not new for AEW. It's not new for WWE. Just WWE does a better job of framing the action. WWE does a really good job of like, hey, I'm the focus. This box right here. This box right here. This is the focus, So anything that comes in there, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Meanwhile, AEW's like, we like these long shots, far out. Which are also, they do have a place in wrestling. It's just, yeah. The problem is knowing when to have those shots and when to not have it. WWE has the issue the other way sometimes where you want to see the guy getting up and springboarding onto the ladder. You want to see the guy running in to break up a pin. You want to see the girl, holding on, like her holding onto the ladder. Because that's the other thing is, WWE's done it before, and I forget who it was. It's like their most recent, one of their most recent. It might have been the Money in the Bank ladder match, where there is a spot where the actual competitor is holding the ladder, but doing so in a way that makes it look like they're like holding on to the ladder because they're tired. And it just makes sense. And you see those kind of things and you're like, oh wow, like that's a nice little, like, as somebody who understands the minor things like that, because I have wrestle rot in my brain, that's the kind of me goes like, wow, that's really cool. But then you see the stuff at the referees, holding stuff. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It doesn't make AEW look lesser than. It doesn't make, Hobbs look like an idiot. It doesn't make their referees look like an idiot. It makes the production look dumb. But it also makes you appreciate when it's done right and when it's done cleanly. And that's what that's what I think should be the focus of the thing. Is not like, oh, that's dumb. Oh, that makes them look sick. Just appreciate when it's done good. And understand how difficult it is to be done good. And that's the thing. You know what that got done good was the Fish Market Street Fight. Let me tell you something. It's a good time. Shark Boy and Curry Man taking on Team 3D. Shark Boy is definitely a wrestler. Curry Man, definitely a wrestler. I'm going to have to keep them on lock for... what I need to do is I need to do a better job. By the way, if you like this... If you enjoyed last week's episode, or you enjoyed any of the previous episodes, or you're enjoying this rant right now, leave a like. Go ahead, subscribe on the YouTube. Leave a 5-star on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I appreciate it. and leave a comment below. What is your fondest TNA memory? Let me know about that, or on Twitter as well, at Dorkside Ring. I appreciate it. Myself, Johnner1223, and Uncle Chet Ripley, talking about the Fish Market Street Fight match here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I watched Tropic Thunder last night for the first time in a while, and it ages incredibly. Like, it is hilarious how for a satire in 2000 and I guess what was that, 2008?
Yeah,
like
so 2007, 2008.
Yeah, how well that stayed. Like, a lot of satire gets really out of date all of a sudden because it's just like
ages quickly.
You know,
ages very quickly. With as quickly as everything changes, as quickly as satire tends to age.
Yeah, like if you play Grand Theft Auto 5 now, a lot of the satire in that is actually like tame compared to real life. Like the whole paparazzi thing of like, it lead into somebody, you know, like an actress like running away and hitting somebody with a car. It's like, no, I think that's happened several times. Also, worse. Like, like, you know, like it's just, like paparazzi being threatened with violence. Like it takes it to the next. It's like, this is ridiculous. Like at some point. But.
Yeah, I mean the only exception is like that, like when they're like throwing around the R word like with the never go full. That's really like. I mean, obviously, however you feel about the parody of like Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface is however you feel.
Well, that's what started it because Ben Stiller, like, there's a report from like the Hollywood Reporter or something like that. Like Ben Stiller was like defending, you know, Tropic Thunder and because he's like, it's a satire of like how far.
Yeah. And like how far Hollywood goes with things like that.
And I don't even know if he brought it up, but like. No one has a problem with the satire of Simple Jack, like making commentary on the fact that like, hey man, like the Academy doesn't mind if you hint at it, but if you outright say it, like, you know, you never go full. And it's like, you know, which, you know, we were watching and like, I'm like, like I couldn't remember what example they used for like, hey, never go this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I am Sam. I am Sam. But then it's just like, all right, well, people understood this, which I've never seen anybody like seriously be upset with like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder because they understand they have multiple brain cells where they can rub together and go, oh, it's satire.
But
the whole point is like, this is how. But far also too,
but also too, like as like a white dude.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really judge how, you know, someone having their, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
having.
And that's the thing.
That's really not for me to decide.
And it was fun to, like, watch it, like, because it's been a while since I've watched it, and it's fun to watch him, like, kind of, like, the character come to grips that what he's doing is wrong. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, man, I'm sorry if I offended you. He goes, why are you still doing like Brandon T. Jackson, like, why are you still doing the accent? He's like, I
don't break character to the DVD commentary. I've seen that movie a lot.
We watched the unrated director's cut, so we got to see like the full-fledged. You know, for 400 years they've held our people down, but it's not. It has nothing to do with being held down. It has use with one word because Brandon T. drops it, and he's like slaps the shit out of it. But it's just like my girlfriend has never seen it before, so she's watching it for the first time in 2023, and
wow.
I don't understand how she never saw it in the last 15 years.
When I was working production for like shows and stuff, instead of saying like copy or Roger over the radio, we all just started doing the they ask him, what do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean?
Yeah. So that was like our, just all like the entire crew, and it's like just everyone like instead of be like, hey, Chet, can you go check front of house and see if you know XYZ's there? Instead of just going copy, just go
like it's just so everybody's like. It was also hilarious that in hindsight, like Robert Downey Jr.'s third build on that cast. Like Jack Black is second, Ben Stiller's first. Ben Stiller directed and produced it, so obviously he was getting top billing. But like, Although my girlfriend goes,
McConaughey's in it. McConaughey's in it, for Christ's sake. You know
Tom Cruise is in it, and I didn't realize. And I told her, I'm like, when I first watched it, I didn't know that it was Tom Cruise. She goes, "How did you not know?" I'm like, "It was It was 2008. I was 16." Like my references of Tom Cruise were him jumping up and down on a couch.
I mean, I saw when it came out. I had 22, 23, so like I do.
And she goes, "Wait, what's wrong with his hands?" I'm like, "Oh, he got prosthetics." And she goes, "What?" I'm like, he wanted to be unrecognizable, and it worked for a lot of people, like including me.
Clearly,
like she's like, his hands are so meaty and like swollen. I'm like, because he wanted to be a Hollywood exec. Like that's what he like, And like, it's a shame that he's in a cult and pushes that cult, because you could fully appreciate. Like, even though
he's talented.
It's
his full commitment.
It's hilarious. The scene where he's like, yeah, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And Matthew McConaughey's like, what the fuck? He goes, we're gonna put up a scholarship in his name, and down the road. And then Bill Hader's like, preferably before the end of the fiscal year, we file an insurance claim. And they're like, we're gonna make more money than
I don't know what kind of pan-Asian power play you're trying to pull here, Jack. But Asia, my territory. I will rain down on you with an ungodly fire. I will fuck you up.
I will massacre you. Like, oh, flaming dragon. Okay, fuckface.
Literally step back and fuck your own face.
It's so.
It's a good movie.
And then he's just like the slime ball of it, which he's like, hey man, like fucking G6, yeah, and like they're playing Avalon. Big swing between your knees.
Go ahead and get them there.
Yeah, that was another one that would just occasionally come up over the radio while we're swinging past your knees.
so
which would always be hilarious, because like someone would be up on like a lighting truss, like lowering something down, and then you just hear like 7 people over the radio swinging past your knees.
It was like, yeah, he's like, so you want me to turn on my friend of 15 years? Yes. For a G5 and lots of money.
A G5 airplane.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. He's like, let me know. But yeah, no, the whole when the director steps on the landmine and blows up, my girlfriend literally was surprised. And like, I'm sitting here going like, because they do a good job of like, oh, like clearly something's gonna go wrong. You know the premise of the movie, and they're doing the bait where like it's just him center frame, very little, headroom. You're waiting for like something to happen, and he just turns around, the zoom out,
click.
Boom! Oh shit! And but yeah, I forgot how hilarious it was when Stiller's like eating his fucking like.
It's just a prop, guys. It's just a prop.
Look. He's like, dude, they do not fear death.
You assholes! This motherfucker's dead.
Oh man. Wait, and then the fact that Downey Jr.'s character can't get Sandusky's last name right, and fucking Ben Stiller's doesn't get his first name right. It's like McCluskey. I'm gonna
Sarducci.
It's Sandusky. Whatever. It's like I'm doing the movie. The concept of the movie that he fucking tries to sell. He's like, yeah, so it's Abe Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth as kids. And you kind of look like Abe. Like, you put a slap of beard on you, I put a good word. If you get me that, it's like, what concept?
When he's talking about the fucking the Blu-ray versus.
Are you talking to me?
You were talking to me this whole time?
My girlfriend thought that was hilarious. It's like, normally it's whatever gamers and pornos and whatever porno. Are you talking to me this whole time? I was talking to anybody who was listening.
That's actually the true story of why Blu-ray won.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the camera I'm using, the reason why Logitech won out in terms of that is because, cam girls. So it's just like, it's wild.
We can try to act like something like porn is like some dirty little secret, but it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry, which has really helped a lot.
That should be a tagline.
Yeah. Yeah, so like defending from all threats, foreign and domestic, that should be a tagline somewhere, and sex sells, that should be a tagline somewhere. Yeah. We're gonna figure it out.
What a concept! Marilyn Monroe, she was actually a dog.
What? Huh?
Yeah, a dog, like 4 legs, barking. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Was it? They just slapped a pair of rubber boobs and a wig on it. No.
I'm a fan in that sewer grate, I tell you.
No, you're telling me that the Earth didn't just start blowing up her skirts for
and also like that was like filthy New York air blowing the hood.
So bad. But yeah, I don't want to watch that Blonde movie with Ana de Armas. Like, as much as I want to, research purposes, it's probably horrible. It doesn't.
It's not gonna be good. Probably gonna be about as good as Elvis.
When Youngest was going by, I was like, wow, this movie really just completely glosses over the fact that Elvis is basically a product of like culture appropriation. Like, yeah. Also, why is there a Doja Cat like a Doja Cat fucking song in this?
Playing in the background? Yeah. And then like there's a scene in the movie where B.B. King gives him the green light to steal black people's music, and it happened in like 1972. And it was like
well after
we're already 20 years in, pal.
Like, it's somehow Forrest Gump's, portrayal of Elvis is more historically accurate than the Elvis biopic. Because in there, he steals somebody's dance moves, which is simply he's just like, wow, look at this kid with braces dancing. What the fuck? Like, that'd be incredible. Let me do that. But yeah, so we're here on the dork side of the ring. We're not talking movies, although WrestleMania this year is in Los Angeles, and I am going to do some like stuff showing people the parodies from WrestleMania 21, which were incredible. The Undertaker is Dirty Harry. I don't think there could be a more fitting of like real life Undertaker. Like, you get to play Dirty Harry. He's like, fuck yeah, brother, I'm in. Like,
hell yeah.
Like, I love Clint Eastwood.
Talk about a dude who did a 180.
Yeah, right.
I guess it's just what happens when you get old.
I guess so, right? Or are we sure you ever
did shit! You got me on video defending Tropic
Just getting
Thunder.
Old.
I'm so fucked.
No.
Canceled.
Well, here's the thing. You're on video, but it's just you pondering an orb right now. Before I probably just I'll probably just put like a holdover image over top, which is probably just gonna be Mike Francesa. I'll probably do it like right now. But yeah, so we're on the dork side of the ring. I forget what episode number this is gonna be, but we've got the pals again mixing the pools of guests. We've got the uncle with the bad back, Chet Ripley.
Howdy.
And we've got from my RP buddy. My goofball buddy, as seen on Tic Tac Foes, Johnner. Hello, welcome back, bud.
Hi.
Yeah,
Johnner, pleasure to meet you, buddy.
Likewise.
There we go. See,
you say that like someone who's going to cancel me for defending Tropic Thunder.
Well, you kind of did. Yeah, I mean,
look here. If there's one thing I know Johnner's going to do, it's going to.
I cancel people.
He cancels people.
Knuckles.
Look, Johnner's tried to cancel me many times, mainly for doing what I just do, which is goofing off. Like in roleplay, I get canceled for not being a criminal who kills people with reckless abandon.
He must be stopped.
How dare I actually roleplay? But we're here, Dork Side of the Ring. This is Chet. This is your third time being on.
Yes, sir.
First time was the episode. I want to say it was 12. No, 13 was Milk Bath. 14. 14. Pillman's got a gun.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the last one with Basque was what was it? Hold on.
HBK and God versus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Vince versus God. That's right. That's episode 60 something. I think that's on. You can just go on to patreonsupport.grum.tv. The watch along for that is there, and it's glorious. That came out in like December. And Johnner, this is Johnner's
Third time.
Third time as well.
Awesome.
Three-time club.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to see if because I know we scheduled a pay-per-view watch along and never got around to it. But first one was the Viagra on a pole match, episode 11. Wild concept, and then Big Boss Man ruins a funeral.
Yep.
And the story of Big Show dropping a dumpster onto the Boss Man's car, and then him Boss Man ruining somehow surviving, and then ruining Big Show's dad's funeral, and then making fun, singing reciting poetry about his daddy being dead.
Your daddy's dead.
Your daddy's dead. Yeah, I would be dead too if I had a son like you.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, he really did. He was a poet, a sick fuck. But Big Boss Man was an absolute terrorist in the year 1999.
That man was a cop.
He was a cop. He got hanged at WrestleMania and just said, "You know what? Fuck it. None of this is worth it. I'm going to be an asshole to everybody." Fed a man his dog, ruined a man's funeral, stole a casket, a dead body.
That man was stealing money, and he would do whatever he could to steal that money. You want me to feed someone a dog, Vince? Okay, let's get it on camera.
Yeah, like
you want me to go. You want me to go trench out a fucking cemetery with a 78 Buick? Okay, Vince.
And a megaphone on top of the Buick.
I'll disturb that piece.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, other people are having funerals that day. I don't care. I do not care. Yeah,
I'm in a cop car. What are they gonna do?
Looking back in hindsight, maybe Nails was right.
Like it's one of the beauty. Me wanting to talk about Nails has been something that I'm trying to figure out the best pairing for it, because it's not just that he was a criminal. He debuted as a former criminal of Big Boss Man's as a bad guy, and he's like, this guy beat me. He was rude. He beat the hell out of prisoners. And then boo, boo,
boo you, orange jumpsuit man.
Yeah. And then he did one. He lost, and then threatened to stab Vince McMahon. And if he was able to do what he wanted to do, wrestling history would have been incredibly different. Like a Pat Patterson, I don't even know who would take over WWE at that point. But that's for a discussion at that point. But today's episode is a fun one as well. I'm excited. It is. I think this comes out roughly. Yeah, this will come out almost to the day, about 15 years ago. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Chet, though, go ahead, reintroduce yourself to the Dork Side community, the fans, the audience. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
I am Chet Ripley. I am the internet's drunk uncle. We've tried to put this together several times. I don't know how I got here. I legitimately don't know how I ended up A, on Discord, and B, on the Troll Withers Discord, because I've been banned from Twitter since 2017. So if Trilly posted about him starting to do it, I don't know. I truly have no clue how I got here, but we're here now. So
yeah, it's always a wild one. Chet's shown me the tweet that got him banned, and it's a glorious one. It's also tame. It's tame.
Elon Musk can just unban you?
No,
I've applied, and I tried to appeal to Daddy Musk's delicate sensibilities, and it just didn't work.
Well, the problem is,
well, I made fun of his people,
yeah,
his favorite guys.
Yeah, yeah. It's so tame. It's so tame compared to what you were actually tweeting. The actual
that was the calling Adam Schefter a pansy was the last strike. To be fair, it was the 3 strikes before that.
One was a foul tip, Yeah.
They're just okay, we've seen enough. We know how this at bat's gonna end. It's spring training, buddy. Get out of here.
Yeah, go ahead. Being off of Twitter and finding out that Tyler has a Discord, I really don't. I can't even because that would require somebody telling you,
remembering,
telling you, and you figuring out how to do it.
And I was there day one of the Discord starting too, which again, no clue how I got there.
Yeah, and you struggle to work Discord normally. But you've gotten better. It's almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years this summer, and that's really impressive because I've never seen that type of growth from somebody in terms of figuring out things. Now, Chet's like this close to fucking hosting a call and sharing his screen. It's going to be incredible when he figures that out.
I mean, if you just think about it, like, okay, I still don't know how to put up a spoiler. Don't teach me. I'm not going to use them anyway. Yeah. But I can figure out how to change my profile across multiple servers, change my name. Yeah. Like. For a 36-year-old dude, or at the time 34 years old when I started, I think I'm doing all right.
Oh, average, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, the best was Chet learning that Discord doesn't kick him out while he's sleeping on on the couch.
To be fair, I passed out because you guys convinced me to go into my freezer and take a shot of moonshine. And then come back.
I didn't.
I wasn't even there.
Connor, it's not you. I know this.
Okay. I'm just. You say you got.
What do you mean, people?
I walked in. I walked in after you came back from the shot, and you were going, "Oh, it was awful." And I'm like, "What happened?" And somebody's like, "Oh, Chet just did a shot of moonshine." I was like, "Oh." Thinking, it's just the only thing you drank that night. No.
It was not
the last thing.
It was for sure the last thing because I was out within 8 minutes of doing that.
It's very funny though because you, J-Ham, and Jim Jam all love to fall asleep in a voice call, and
I've fallen asleep twice or 3 times.
all sound like lawnmowers.
Just
a variety of lawnmowers.
Because if I pass out on a voice call, that means I did not put my CPAP machine on.
JM sounds like a modern push mower. Jim Jam sounds like a slightly bigger model. Chet sounded like a riding mower at one time. It was
I've had my snoring. I had my snoring described once as it's like someone took a chainsaw to my dreams. All right, you're not wrong. I have no argument there. I've heard it. It's woken me up.
Yeah, really.
That's actually honestly, that's just a sleep apnea being like, "Hey, buddy, you're about to die."
Yeah, no, same. You know,
same concept.
Johnner, what about you? Reintroduce yourself to the Discord audience, the Dorkside audience and listeners.
I'm Johnner. I'm a subpar role player. Which is a cardinal sin. That's it. That's me. I roleplay.
That's it. You find Johnner. Are you streaming? I know your schedule's
my schedule's
steady,
janky. But yeah. So I haven't been streaming. I do wish to return.
It's at Johnner, Twitch.tv/Johnner JHONNER 1223.
2-3.
Or as some people would say, Jay Honor. Or that's really just it. It's Johnner or Jay Honor.
That's it.
It's Dutch.
It's Dutch. The Dutch. I just loved. So Chet, there was a joke when we would do roleplay, and somebody would actually call Johnner by Johnner instead of his character's name. Immediately, we're both like, "What does he look like? An honorable journalist?" Because, like what? What's that? Yeah, it's journalist with honor, Jay Honor. Yeah,
he does not work for Slate. Damn it!
Does this man look like he writes? He looks like he writes for the Washington Post, if anything. You would think he has honor. No. I mean, sure, he's not an opinionist for the New York Times, but he carries the water for Daddy Bezos, all right?
It's all right.
But yeah, well, all right. Well, welcome back, gentlemen. It's good to have you. That's the episode. No. I feel I'm trying to think of what else Chet could accidentally let's see, defending Tropic Thunder, implying a 180 from Clint Eastwood.
What? A couple of guys just can't go to the Capitol and hang out? What the hell?
No,
it's just a field trip.
Ask Jesse Ventura. We were talking about Jesse Ventura before we even started recording, and how his hate has aged him, but not aged him like other hateful people. Like, he's, what, 80 at this point?
He's got to be at least, because if he's Nom age, my old man's 82. My old man was a little too old for Nom.
Yeah, so roughly
Believe it or not.
Late 70s, early 80s. So
yeah, that's 75 to like 82 range, give or take.
So he's you know, and he just looks like an old dude. But he looks like an old dude with a little bit of too much hate in his heart. But his hate is directed at bad people like Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon. You know, it's not hate. You know, there's no hate towards innocent, regular old people. Like,
well, we don't know that yet.
That's true. We're gonna find out.
I just love
how he's like, if the Democrats want to win, give me your seat. And I can out talk Donald Trump. It's like,
I mean,
it's not a promo battle. It's the president.
Well, I mean, if you saw what Trump did during those debates, man, that was straight promos. That was not.
I mean, it really was.
Policy. What's policy?
He's lost his fastball because he had Meatball Ron, and then he went back to Ron
DeSanctimonious. It's too wordy.
It's too wordy. Way too many syllables for his base. His base just figured out how that cat and kitten are the same thing.
They just figured out how to get me banned from Twitter. That's it.
And it took one of their own getting in charge of Twitter.
I know.
But Johnner, what's your as you both know, I like to get a refresher on personal experience with pro wrestling so that I am refreshed on it and the audience knows as well where we're all coming from. What's your experience with pro wrestling?
Well, as a child of the 90s, I experienced the best of times and the worst of times of wrestling. When I got into my teens, kind of became casual. During the CM Punk era, I was a little more active, and now I'm just still super casual.
Super cash, like the most casual on Fridays.
Like, yeah, so I'll watch a highlights channel on YouTube on Tuesdays to see what happened on Monday, just before WWE takes the channel down.
Yeah, God forbid their own channel puts up full actual entertaining highlights.
No.
Thank God I have the Peacock, because like some of the stuff I'm working on like requires full context, and the YouTube cuts out a lot of it. And I'm like, come on, man! I know there was more to this segment. I need to see the segment of film. I'm like, all right, let me see what. Okay, scrub through. I that's why I got the Impact streaming service. One, I like Impact. I enjoy watching it, and this way I can go back and watch some of their shows. But like their YouTube is good, but it has so much bullshit that I'm not trying to look at. Like, it's like they don't update it. So like they'll have something that was from 2014 when they were like putting out like Global Force Wrestling, and like it's just like, subscribe to the Global Force app. Watch us on Pop TV on Tuesdays, and I'm like
both of those things haven't existed for 5 years.
like what's going on here? Insane. But yeah, no. All right. So I think we talked about it last time you were on, Johnner, about like when it was that you decided to stop following it as much, and that like and it was around this time where like Cena was at his like most boring for a lot of people.
Remember, I don't know if it was WrestleMania. It was a pay-per-view with Cena and Undertaker. I watched Taker. I think Taker just destroyed Cena like throughout for like 15 minutes, and then Cena did his, the five moves of doom, then the 5 moves of doom, and there's just one. I was like, what?
That was probably what. That was probably.
It couldn't have been WrestleMania.
No. But there was. It was a pay-per-view. It was like No Way. It was like Definitely. No Way Out in either 07 or 08. There was like they did a thing. It might have been like Saturday night's main event, but it was like the WrestleMania main events for SmackDown and Raw faced off against each other. So it was like Taker and Batista versus HBK and HBK and Cena. Then there was like the next year it was Edge and Taker versus in a handicap match against Orton, Triple H, and Cena. I think even the year before that it was Well, no, because Undertaker wasn't in that. But they do that like type of stuff where it's like, cross like hyping up. We got nothing to do between Mania or Royal Rumble and Mania, so we need something. Hey, what if we just made the main events feud with each other? And I think it might have been that 2007, because both main events were like good guy versus good guy. So they needed to build some sort of conflict. And they're like, well, what if we just put them in tag team matches and force them to like stick together while also knowing that they wanted to beat each other a month later? That's good storytelling. And it's like, it's not horrible, but also, I'm like, talk about lazy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely, especially doing it to The Undertaker, not great. But yeah, so all right, mid 2000s, that sounds about right. And then because that would make sense, because then CM Punk isn't too far after that as like skyrocketing.
It wasn't the when he was shaving everyone's head. It was definitely I got back when I heard about the pipe bomb and all that.
Yeah, because it was the shaving everyone's head for Straight Edge Society was kind of cool, but also.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's also like, why do I care about like Luke Gallows and Joey Mercury? Man,
it only took Punk like, I don't know, 14 years to apologize to Serena Deeb,
right?
After all that, like,
and it's like in one essence, like, that's not on him, but on another, like. He should have been like, no, why does she have to shave her head? Like she's like, I'm willing to shave my head and get massively dangerous breast implants so that I can be wrestling on television. Yeah. Which is just,
only for good old Phil to treat her like garbage behind the scenes, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shocker, CM Punk, a dickhead. So it's like
Tony Atlas was right.
Look, when you prove Tony foot lover Atlas right, the fact that man posts pictures of him getting stepped on Christmas Day, he goes, this was like the picture, I swear, was from the night that Bruiser Brody was stabbed. And he's like, he posts a picture of a woman standing barefoot on his face. He's like, this is from this day. And somebody's like, wait a second, isn't that the day that Bruiser Brody died? Tony, well, you could have stopped it, but you're getting your feet. You were loving some feet. Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
And then they hear him like make up all those stories about what happened.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's like, ooh.
Meanwhile, you go to Dutch Mantel. Dutch, what happened? Zip.
I like being alive.
I also like the money that Puerto Rico gives them. Like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. They love them some dirty Dutch Mantel. Basically, he was just like, all right, well, like. Carlos Colon wins. That's the story. Yeah. Carlos, we're bringing a white guy, make him hated. Carlos Colon wins.
We'll make sure all of his sons have jobs.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Chet, what about you? What is your background and experiences with pro wrestling and sports entertainment?
So I got two older brothers. If I remember correctly, I think my folks took them to WrestleMania 4 in Atlantic City, and then like a couple of like the local like house shows and stuff because I live in Central Jersey. So like, there's always there were always running stuff.
Which, by the way, Central Jersey finally getting some recognition.
We've always existed.
Well, no, that's the thing is, it's very funny.
We've been here.
Like,
we've always existed.
You've always existed, except no one's recognized, and they've just said Central Jersey is the halfway mark between North and South, and apparently, from what I read, the state of New Jersey will recognize there being Middle New Jersey.
Oh, good for us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
but I mean, damn it, the Parkway.
Yeah.
The Parkway goes from north to south on the entire fucking state. It ends at 172. It starts at exit 1 in the south. I live at exit 98. I am dead center. Like, what else? Where else could you describe this? Like, if you look at a map of New Jersey, and then if you look at where I grew up, it's literally dead center on the coast side.
Okay, I'm just write that down.
Or as you would say, Dan Ashur.
Dan Ashur. Down, yeah, we go Dan Ashur.
Hey, you guys going down Ashur?
Yeah. Where are you staying at? It's like Ocean City. Ocean City?
Ocean City?
You staying at Crescent or North Wildwood? It's like neither. But
Sea Isle City? All right, I gotta stop. We're just gonna get stuck doing a Philly accent all day. It was like this year where I just became Carl from Aqua Teen. Hey guys, what are you freaking doing? It's like 7 of my uncles.
So your folks were taking your older brothers to the some of the local.
Yeah, so like it was always like that was like the height of like Hogan and stuff. So like it was kind of always on. So it was like just naturally got into it from there. The first event that I really remember is Rumble '92. So there's that nostalgia thing of me saying '92 is the best year ever. Mm-hmm. And then I watched. I think the last episode of Raw that I watched was when Vince bought WCW. It was like one of those where it was like, oh, you have to go watch this. And then after that, I was out until the lead up to like the WrestleMania at Giant Stadium.
Oh, so that's a good point to get in.
Yeah, because my nephew got into it. He was like 5, 6 at the time. So like he was like, all right, well, I'll watch wrestling with you, buddy. I know how this goes.
I know how this goes. I know how to play along.
Yeah. I did almost get into a fist fight with dudes at WrestleMania.
Of course. I have a fun story. I've never been to WrestleMania. I'm hoping to go to.
Oh, dude.
40 is on. It's a must go for me. At least one of the nights. I'm going to try to go to both nights. But WrestleMania 31 was in San Jose, and I had a friend who was local to the area, got tickets to go, and sat pretty close, not camera side, but he was sat along the aisleway.
Okay.
But he was sitting on the same side as the Brock Lesnar shirt guy.
Okay.
Right? That douchebag. Which I gotta tell Pat about that guy, because Pat hates green shirt guy, which we all do, because he's an emotionless blob of apathy.
Of dead center.
Dead center every time. Although I went back, I was watching, I think he's local-ish to the, like, the three of us are in, like, this tri-state area. I think he's from this area, because that cocksucker, I went back and I watched something from WrestleMania 27 era.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it was 27. And they had a show in like the New York, New Jersey area. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was Trenton or East Meadowlands, but it was one of those things. And he's there, front row, but off to the left. But he's not at like the pay-per-views and everything. So like, I think he's local.
I think he's local too, because you see him at every live event, like every TV event, especially from like Boston to Baltimore.
Yeah. So
if I had to guess, he's probably in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which means I could find him.
We can find him. We can find him.
I forgot. Yeah, you do live in the biggest city in New Jersey.
Come on, Chet. What? Why? This is whack propaganda, not whack. Both whack as in
whack-agenda?
Whack, and then this is whack-agenda. Damn it! How much is he paying you? Huh? Tell me. I will.
Listen, all I'm saying is, if you listen to whack and then you look at a map, you go, huh? All right.
No, you look at a map. It's in Pennsylvania.
Sort of. West Philly is.
All of Philadelphia is. What are you talking about? There's a literal river that splits it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and then look at where the state line is.
Son of a... I swear to God, I'm gonna... No. We're not listening to this.
That was actually what Washington was doing when he's crossing to Delaware. He was claiming it for New Jersey.
Oh, time for me to go back in time. You're going to see my ugly mug on that famous painting. I was just like...
It's gonna be you and Dale storming the beach with Big GW in the background on his little dinghy.
It's like, God damn it, that's gross. It's me riding in with a 2012 Ford Edge. Like, I'm gonna get you in Washington.
Grum's actually a Hessian.
It's a red coat. No, wait, that's not a blue coat. What is that? It's just me in this dusty road shirt.
Speaking German with a Dusty Rhodes accent.
I'm fine, bye, baby. Guten Tag, motherfucker. That's right, baby. Yeah, have some of this German cake, baby.
The German dream.
So we stay on the rails here.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, the rail on the rails is off the rails. But yeah, so he's sitting next to Brock Lesnar, or not next to, but he's in the same area as Brock Lesnar guy, and he hates this guy. Apparently, there was a show in like the LA area that Brock Lesnar guy was at as well, and he was kind of addicted. He was being a dick to people, and it's very obvious. This guy was like, "Man, I made a WrestleMania. Like, I was on TV, and I'm this guy, yeah." Like, and used it and was like, "I'm great." And it's like, buddy, you're just a schmuck who wears the same Tap Out T-shirt.
You're a fucking mark.
Yeah, for yourself.
The definition of a mark.
Like, you don't see angry Ms. Girl, becoming a mark for herself. You don't see the shocked Taker guy becoming a mark for himself. Like,
no, he's like, oh, it was a fun little moment. It goes viral. They put my face on the thing. If you're a fan, you just go, oh, that's cool, and you keep it moving.
Izzy herself did not become a mark for herself, but Izzy's parents did. And shout out Lindsay Dorado for going like, "God, I'll see you in the parking lot."
I'll get fired for this shit. I don't care.
Threatening to beat up somebody.
Sure enough, he did get fired.
He did. Good but in doing so was like, I'm whoop this man's ass. Or no, that's why he goes, I'm unemployed. I got time.
I'll come to you, buddy. I'll meet you in Temecula.
I'll meet you in Clearwater, man.
The Temecula of Florida.
So he started yelling at Brock Lesnar guy and started calling him like a dickhead, right? Just like general banter you have towards people you can fuck up. And Brock Lesnar guy like looked at him and was like, "What'd you say?" And my friend started like walking closer to him, and as he got closer to him, also raising his volume. And he was like, "You are a dickhead." And he was like, "Oh, well, say it to my face," and say like the whole like bravado, say it to my face. He's like, "All right, I'm walking closer to you." As he's walking closer, Brock Lesnar guy's like backing up, like he's like, "You're a pussy, man." And this is like half an hour before the show starts. Like they're like This is before like the pre-show stuff, but like there are plenty of people around. It's like, good lord. But yeah, so you almost got to fight at Mania made me think of that.
Listen, I'm X amount of white trash where I will throw hands in an arena.
Look,
but that was one where it was like, it was those dudes that were like trying to ruin it for the kids.
Oh,
and it's just like, man, like I'm the same age. I'm around the same age as you guys. Like, and we're also surrounded by, I don't know how many thousand like little kids. Just let them enjoy it, man. You don't have to do like spoilers and like badmouth little kids because they want John Cena to win.
Yeah. Like,
it's like, I almost wanted to tell them, like, hey, fellas, we both know, the three of us all know the outcome of this.
Is predetermined.
Yeah. And, like, if you've been paying attention, last year The Rock won. Who do you think's going to win this? The best part about it was, because they were, like, cursing and everything, after I finally said, I think I told this story here, but.
Maybe.
Finally, I just looked at him, I go, you know what, buddy? You can tell these kids about wrestling, but in 10 years, they'll be able to tell you about girls. Everybody laughed. I got drinks bought for me. It was great.
Damn. Damn. Yeah, no. I wish I had that in my pocket. I've told this story a couple times, but I was at like a Monday Night Raw at the height of Roman Reigns being forced onto people, and obviously the kids all love him, because he was a superhero, and like. Which is why the adults now love him, because he's a super villain. Like, he's like, oh, this is great. And it's just a matter of, adults like different things than children. Surprise, surprise. So there's these kids in front of me with like their mom. So it's like 3 kids and a mom by herself. And she's already overwhelmed. She's got 3 kids at a wrestling show, but she's sitting, they're sitting close. Like we're by like the timekeepers area. And the kids are going crazy, and they're like, "We want Roman, yeah." And these 2 neckbeard son of a bitches are like, "Roman sucks." And it's like they're throwing around derogatory words for like, oh, like like you got to be brain dead to in not so nice terms. And I literally just stand up and tell them both that I'll, like to shut their mouths, or I'm going to do something, or I'm going to shut it for them. And they're like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, I don't care. I paid my ticket. It's worth it to fuck you guys up." My brother was with me. He's roughly the same size as me, but he's
Jesus
muscular.
Christ, the Bash Brothers.
He's muscular where I'm just just fat. And he stands up. So there's me and him and two neckbeard chunky dudes. And as soon as my brother stands up, doesn't say a word, they go, "All right, damn man, like calm down.
Like
we're not.
that.
We're just we don't like." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." I apologize to the mom because I'm like, I said shut the fuck up. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, and she goes, "No, thank you. Like, I appreciate that people are looking out for for kids' enjoyments." Because I guess she's done this before.
Like you said, she's in absolute hell. Because I assume it's Wells Fargo, right?
Yep.
So you're at Wells Fargo. She's got 3 kids, presumably under the age of 10.
I would say probably the oldest was 11. Like they're definitely in that I can't tell if you're in 4th grade or 7th grade because I'm older,
and
I'm not sure.
they're probably all jazzed up on soda pop and popcorn, and they're going to the wrestling show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the thing that they look forward to, and it was right before Mania, so it was very clear that this was a fucking Christmas gift.
Yeah. That woman's going to be exhausted for 2 days after that.
The least I can do is tell 2 guys with thick ass neckbeards to shut the fuck up and let kids enjoy things.
They'll tell you how awesome AEW is.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. That's the thing. I love that AEW being around is great is very healthy because it allows the people who just gave WWE their money to go hate WWE, counterproductive fucking thinking, great thinking to just not go to the WWE now because they're like, "Oh, I'd rather go to AEW," and it's like, good, go to the place that you enjoy, go there, have a good time, don't go places you don't want to go.
Remember a few years ago when Triple H, when they were doing the whole
I know exactly where you're going.
Just good. They were doing the Daniel Bryan thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was making fun of those people, going, "Me and my buddy Mark are never going to come back here again until next month."
Dude, it was a see you next Monday. Every time you were on a forum and somebody was like, "This show fucking sucks. I'll never see you next Monday." Because it's just a habit. You're going to, and unless there's something that makes you legitimately break the habit, you're like an addiction.
Like girls?
Yeah. Some people just like being hate watchers.
And look, there's nothing wrong with hate watching.
To an extent.
There's nothing wrong with hate watching. But when you go, I'm spending hundreds of dollars so I can go hate this, they don't care why you gave them $100+ They don't care. Because at the end of the day, their business is to make money. Not to that's the thing. That's AEW's thing. They're there to make money. And that's why they, went and got...
You don't care about our opinions?
No, they don't. They here.
No, they don't.
Surprise!
They're my friends.
Hold on. Here's the great thing, right? Nobody that is in the entertainment business cares about people's opinions, because if that was the case, there would be a lot less Sharknadoes in the world. The very first Sharknado is an objectively horrible film with bad effects. There are 6, 7 of them. There are so many because people don't care about the fucking opinions of people. They care about, Sharknado. That didn't cost us a lot of money, and we made a lot of money because people went out and watched this thing and said it was horrible. We don't care what they did after they watched it.
Again.
They watched it. That's it. That's all we care about because that makes money. So,
I was about to say something real nasty, but I don't want to get the Marvel fans on my ass.
Go ahead. Look.
All right, Tropic Thunder this or whatever. Marvel would kill for the CGI that was in Sharknado 1.
Yeah, and I'm not. I don't disagree. It's not, the CGI has not been good since Endgame. It's very clear.
There's a definitive decline in quality there.
Yeah, and even then, Black Panther's fight scene had pretty bad PlayStation 2 graphics.
Yeah,
but
we haven't progressed past Neo spinning on the pole, kicking all the agents in the face yet.
No,
it's still that all still looks the same to me.
Yeah. No, largely because it is. It's just now in high def.
Cool.
In 4K. That makes the good CGI look really good, but makes the bad CGI look really bad. But yeah, they just don't. I mean, John, you can chime in on this, but there's a lot of bad role players who do a lot of good numbers in no pixel. The premier.
I wouldn't see you be negative. I wouldn't say there's a lot of bad role players who get a lot of numbers. There's a lot of good shooters on a role play server getting a lot of numbers. There's a lot of good FPS
tomato, half a dozen. Tomato. Yeah, no, there's a lot of people who are doing not role play on a role play server that bring the role play server a lot of money. Good for them.
So the server don't care.
Yeah, they sure as shit don't. No. In fact, they might encourage it a little bit by leaning towards
profits up, baby.
Yeah. Not publicly, but they will put in things. They will develop things for the server that help those type of role players.
No. Not that what? No.
Yeah. No, certainly not. And look, there are objectively good role players on that server. Much like in WWE terms, there's a lot of objectively good wrestlers in WWE. They're just, for a long time, they were in a bad situation because there was no competition, and now some of them left to go to AEW where they are thriving, and some are not.
Just bleeding every week.
Yeah. Well, I said good wrestlers. I didn't. The one that bleeds.
Hey, listen, he won Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, sure. The same people who voted WWE as the worst promotion in the same year where NWA and Control Your Narrative existed. Yeah, okay. Their entire their top two acts left before the second show because they went back to WWE. How can there not be a worse promotion than that?
I'm hoping Meltzer just doesn't acknowledge it.
Oh no!
In this case.
The thing is so Tony Khan won Best Promoter and Best Booker of the Year. Normally, they'll just post the results and that's it, no comments. Yeah. Meltzer disagreed with the voters so much that he made a comment of hey, sure, Triple H did not take over till July. However, he has several of the hottest acts in wrestling, the best long-term storyline going that picked up when he came over, and also made a shit ton, made more money in the 6 months that he was there than Tony Khan did the whole year.
My stock went up, baby. I ain't complaining.
He's objectively, he's the guy overseeing all this, and it's
Dave,
the fucking people Sami Zayn was the best gimmick, or was voted best gimmick.
The highest out of WWE guys. I don't think he even won. No, did he actually win best gimmick?
He won best gimmick.
Right. I mean, they love him because he was an indie darling prior.
Right. And he I don't even know if I would call it the best gimmick. It's definitely the best story.
He was easily the best. Him and the whole Bloodline thing was just easily the best story this year, probably the last 5 years.
But to me, that's I mean, it is a gimmick. He's not being himself, but there's also an element I have a different definition of gimmick where I'm just Orange Cassidy is the best gimmick, because that is an absolute. Yeah. That's an actual.
Yeah, I 100% see that. Something just turning yourself up to 11, versus say Doink the Clown.
Yeah, right. You're
he wasn't Doink the Clown when the cameras were off.
Well. In the case of the original Doink, he was very much just himself in face paint from every story about Matt Bourne. So it's I still can't believe the fun story of how Doink the Clown came to be, and it's Road Warrior Hawk being off his gorge in the locker room. He's "Hey, Matt, you should be an evil clown because you look like a clown." And you're a dick. That's it. And he's all right.
Apparently Hawk had a couple of those ideas where it was just huh?
Yeah, well, it's very funny that Hawk, who is infamous for his drug use, and Scott Hall, also infamous for his drug use, came up with some of the best gimmicks for other people.
Yeah, it's almost think drugs and alcohol are pretty good for ideas.
If you remember the late '80s and '90s in WWF and NWA,
not entirely.
There was also some sober people throwing out some ideas there that you're just like, oh.
Yeah, the ding dongs. Yeah,
yeah. The same guy that we were just describing as a clown used to come to the ring dressed as a lumberjack and a fucking bear. A bear.
Big Josh, a bear. Baby. Love me some Big Josh. That was the thing.
Bears wrestle.
Bears do wrestle. Lumberjacks are manly. However,
it wasn't even a razzling bear. It was just a bear that just pisses and shits itself as it's coming down the aisle.
Oh man, God, Big Josh. I gotta do I need to do short form content. I just need to do like some of the worst gimmicks in like wrestling. It was like a show. Like, I'm not dedicating a whole show to Big Josh. However, I will talk about Big Josh.
Say the word, because that was like my wheelhouse of like as a little kid, like, oh my God, like WWF is life was like that whole like the beginning of like the occupation era where every guy was like a contractor of some kind. Fucking repo man.
Yeah, look, it started with The Undertaker being a mortician, and then they were like, "Hey man, he's kind of creepy. What if he was undead?"
It started with the Big Boss Man.
Oh yeah, you're right. It did. Yeah, Big Boss Man was first. Yeah,
and then Dusty was the son of a plumber.
Well, he's the American dream. He's the everyman. You know, he's the he would do everything for everybody. He was a delivery man. He was a jack of all trades. Dustin was. That's right, baby. I was fixing your plumbing and delivering your pizza, baby. That's right, and your mail. That's right. So it's very funny though. Today we were talking about like gimmicks and parodies and everything, which brings up a question in relation to what we're talking about today. What is your favorite parody movie? Like, I mean, the obvious ones are like Scary Movie. I mean, we were just talking about Tropic Thunder. I think that's probably like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Tropic Thunder might be it's more satire than parody, but it definitely is. I mean, a parody in and of itself. Also, big respect to Scary Movie 2 is my favorite of the Scary Movie franchise.
Definitely.
The Scary Movie 1's good too, but Scary Movie 2 is the one that just stands out among the rest. It's like I was like trying to think of like other ones other than like not another superhero movie, not another teen movie is actually a stellar parody.
Yeah,
it doesn't age very well, to my knowledge.
Nothing from the early 2000s does.
But I mean, the whole again, just taking the whole idea of like we're just gonna take all these same ideas and just put them into one movie with Chris Evans and gonna get laid at prom tonight.
Prom tonight.
I love that movie.
It's so good. You know, I think for me though, Tropic Thunder is probably my favorite parody movie.
Toss up between Spaceballs and Men in Tights.
Spaceballs.
I was gonna say Spaceballs. Yeah. Mel Brooks he's the master. I mean,
yeah,
even Blazing Saddles. Like every movie he's done is a parody of all that.
What do white women at?
Oh boys!
Oh fuck! Here comes Mongo.
Here comes Mongo.
that getting fucking put in for in Botchamania is just so good. Like, it's so good. And then, fuck that shit. Here comes Mongo. And then hey, let's watch Mongo wrestle uninterrupted for 3 minutes and see how many times he fucks up. Great talker, incredible talker. That man couldn't wrestle he couldn't wrestle thin air. No, certainly he get beat.
That dude's got a wild story too.
He really does, and it's a shame, like everything that's happening to him. Like, I mean, it's rough for pro wrestlers. It's rough for NFL retired players. He happens to be both. It's like Jesus Christ.
I was actually talking about the guy that played Mongo.
That guy. I was talking about Mongo McMichael. Yeah, Steve Mongo McMichael is fucked up right now.
But yes, both of them have very wild stories. Yeah, but I would say I would say Spaceballs or Naked Gun 2.5.
Ooh.
Not the first one, the second one.
Damn, if I was smart, I would have found a way to make that. I should have saved that question for when I talk about Undertaker versus Undertaker, because it involves WrestleMania or SummerSlam '94. We'll talk about that at some point in the future. But yeah, no, Naked Gun 2.5. That's good. Would you consider Police Academy isn't, but also I feel like it is.
Yeah,
but it kind of is.
Because like they did make plenty like semi, not semi, but serious movies where it was like, young cops, new on the beat type stuff.
Yeah. And
this does kind of turn it on its head as a comedy, so yeah, I'll allow it.
Other Guys, now that I think about that, I feel like The Other Guys is, they have the parody with The Rock and Samuel being the super cops, but it's like, these are just the other guys in the film. But it's not quite, but it is. I don't know, Will Ferrell's obsession with his Prius being his car as a detective. It's efficient. We will have sex in that car.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike? And are you the boys?
No! It's the fuzz! We will have sex in your car.
I always thought that was Rex Ryan. It turns out it was Adam McKay. And if it was Rex Ryan, it would have been infinitely funnier.
No, Rex Ryan didn't start getting into films until what was the Adam Sandler and Sandberg one? My Boy.
Oh, That's My Boy.
That's My Boy. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That was because he goes in there and he's talking about how he loves Tom Brady. But yeah, no, Rex Ryan being Dirty Mike would have been hilarious.
I think it's just the teeth.
Incredible teeth. He's got Roman Reigns' teeth became Rex Ryan's teeth. He saw Rex Ryan in 2020. He was like, I need his teeth.
You could feed Rex. You could feed Rex Ryan an apple through a fence. It's unbelievable.
Just be wearing shoes. I don't know how we talk about Rex Ryan and Tony Atlas twice. That's ridiculous. This episode also is sponsored by Disowning Feet Fetish Men. All right, feet guys are we don't yuck yums here. They are weird for other reasons.
We do kink shame here.
We don't. I'm not shaming the kink of somebody having a foot fetish. I am shaming the person behind the fetish because that person is clearly unwell.
This message is brought to you by the Council to Restore Shame. Restore shame. Have some self-respect.
Yeah. What happened to Shane? Yeah. I might have to. That might become a dork side merch. It's just
what happened to Shane?
Macho Man reading the news and this is what happened to Shane. What happened to Shane? So I asked about parodies because today's episode involves one of my favorite parody characters of all time. In 2008, the wrestler known as Shark Boy in TNA has no relation to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. However, many made that connection, although he's a shark. Went from being an utter joke of a character to thinking he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it took a coma to do that. But in doing so, all of his Stone Cold mannerisms became fish puns. So give me a shell, yeah. Shark Boy 316 says, I just took a bite out of your ass. Other things, he started doing the stunner. He did a whole Stone Cold impression. Stone Cold himself hated it, disowned it. He said, fuck this.
Why?
Because I believe this is right around the time where Stone Cold is still much like taking himself as if he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, which he was, but he hasn't wrestled for 5 years at this point. And I think he was just still in that post. He's short from retirement of I should still be going.
I'll get back in that ring.
No, he wouldn't. But he's like, if I fall on my ass, well, yeah, brother. If I fall on my ass, I'm dead. And then come to find out, he just did it a whole bunch of times, anyways. But there was also a character by the name of Curry Man. And if you don't know who Curry Man is, he's hot, he's spicy, he's Curry Man. Chris Daniels lost, or in a Feast, we talked about Feast or Fired earlier, last year, the very first one. He ended up getting fired because his briefcase had the fired one in it. But they obviously like Chris Daniels, and he just needed a break as Chris Daniels, so he donned his gimmick from Japan of Curry Man. He's a man with a curry dish on his head, and he's hot and he's spicy. Well,
and people say things like, I can't believe Christopher Daniels never really made it.
True, this is true. But they found themselves in the middle, the apex of a storyline that TNA had been telling for several months of Team 3D, otherwise more commonly known as the Dudley Boys, Brother Ray, Brother Devon, and their war against the X Division. They lost a match the previous month that said that they lost a match, and in doing so, per the stipulation of the match, they had to weigh in before every match. And if they weighed more than 275 pounds, they were fired. This is the apex of that storyline. At Destination X, it is a fish market street fight match between Shark Boy and Curry Man against Team 3D from Destination X 2008. I decided this was pretty good for the both of you because I felt like Impact Wrestling was it was in the blinders. You never it existed.
I definitely never heard of any of this.
I've only seen the important things. I don't feel as if this is one of those things that we would consider important.
I disagree. This is very incredible into the lore of Team 3D and TNA. I was a TNA guy. I really liked it. Watched this live. It was everything I thought it could be. When you tell me it's a fish market street fight match involving Team 3D, Shark Boy, and Curry Man.
Expectations are high.
Who do you think wins? Chet, who's your prediction? Team 3D or the team of Shark Boy and Curry Man?
Was Vince Russo working there at the time?
I don't think so.
Then it's Shark Boy and Curry Man.
Johnner?
I don't think anyone wins. I think they all lost in that scenario.
Yeah.
I think all four of them walked away losers.
There was an official winner, but maybe not. We'll see. We'll see if you want to continue on with that thought that everyone walked away a loser. We're going to watch that. We'll be right back here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. Hey everybody, taking a break just to tell you a little bit about what you get from support.grum.tv. It is the Patreon. It'll take you right to my Patreon where you can get this episode. You got this episode Thursday night. You got a whole 4 days ahead of time. Got it all in video and everything. You also got to see, before it went live on YouTube, the AEW Revolution 2023 preview. You also got to see a little bit of what we've got coming down the line for the month of March as well. That's going up. That went up this past weekend, or if it has not, it's going up soon. You also get next week's episode early ad free. It's always ad free. This is technically an ad, but you get it early, and so much more. You also the watch along from episode 68, the choppy PP segment story with Val Venus and Kai and Tai. All is up there right now at support.grum.tv. Go there. For as low as $1, you get benefits. You get behind the scenes stuff. You get scripts. You get to see what I'm working on. All the good kind of stuff that your Grum loving heart could desire. All that on support.grum.tv. Now let's get back to the episode. We're back on the Dork Side of the Ring. First impressions, Chet with the first ever fish market street fight match.
You know, out of all the old-fashioned fish market brawls that I've seen, this is for sure the second greatest one I've ever seen.
Which one was the first?
It was Jack Johnson versus John L. Sullivan in 1906.
That was a pretty good one. That was like the fifth one, right?
I got that was the one that really put it on the map. It also broke Jack Johnson on a national scale. But no, that was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. from the moment you told me what was going on, I was like, oh God, please just let it be short.
No, that was 23 minutes. 23 minutes.
Thankfully, it went quick.
I hate every wrestling match gimmick where it's just basically a hardcore or Extreme Rules match, but they're like, but it's here, or it's Boston Street Fight. The only difference of that in a regular street fight, it's in Boston. But I just call it what it is. I hate this match. This match, it wasn't even a fish market. They had 3 stands of fish, and then like a fishing pole, an oar, and a net. Like, here's the thing:
multiple nets. But yeah, go ahead.
Match wise, it was the wrestling was wrestling. I think it was good. I think not enough of it kind of like synergized to the ending. It, caught me off guard because it just kind of happens.
Yeah,
like there was no build up to it. But I did fucking hate the fish stuff. I hate it. I hate fish. Let it be known, Johnner hates fish.
Johnner hates.
Johnner, not a pescatarian.
Noted. Don't invite Johnner to Long John Silver. Don't.
I'll burn that place. Ooh, do not even.
No.
Good thing there won't be anyone inside, but
there's a secret cabal keeping those places open, and I think that's the thread that if we discover who are these people, we also discover who's head of the Illuminati.
That's true. Long John Silver is just a front for top secret organizations.
Them and Mattress Firm.
I was gonna say, like, the people who use Long John Silver's
also getting the mattress.
Small regional bowling leagues in the Illuminati. That's it. Hell yeah, brother! I did a 275. We won our match today. Let's go to LSJ's.
We'll see if they got the fresh hush puppies today, because I hate when they're sitting around for a while.
Let's go to LJS for some post match victory. Hell yeah, brother!
Hell yeah, brother!
Like, man, and there's somebody that seems like, I hate when he scores the highest. He always picks Long John Silver's. Like, for once, I would like to go to, like, Ruby Tuesday. So,
hey man, we're going to Waffle House after. We'll meet you over there. Nah, man, LJS.
I'm getting me the flounder today. I'm eating good. Like, can't you just get that at the frozen food? And it's fresh. Are you sure? Sure, it's fresh.
Not the same.
They say it's fresh.
Speaking of fish places, when I was like 17, turning 18, I got like my first real job.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was working with, just a gross human being. They cleaned out his desk after he passed, unfortunately. And his drawer had so many soups in it that it sounded like a Coke machine. So we're driving. It's my first day. I'm trying to just get a feel for what's going on here. And this guy looks at me and he says, for my money, Arthur Treachers, or Treachers, whatever you want to call it, I don't know how it's pronounced. For my money, Arthur Treachers is the best fast fish money can buy. Guess where we stopped for lunch that day?
Long John Silver.
Arthur Treachers.
He's like, that's the best money can buy.
First time ever hearing of the place. It's my first day on a new job, and he's looking at me like, what, you don't want nothing? You don't want a nice set of North Jersey fish and chips from a fake British chippy? No, I'm good, man.
You think it's too good?
You don't want the scallions from here?
No.
I was expecting the story to be like, yeah, so this is the best fast, and then he's like, I can't afford that. We're at the Long John Silver.
Grum, that sentence has haunted me since 2004. I think about that sentence no less than twice a week.
Oh, no.
It's up there with John Taffer screaming in that lady's face, do you want to be a pirate or do you want to make money? Just these things that just click through my head all day, all week. My fucking brain is broken, dude. I don't know.
It's like, yeah, for best bang for your buck, fast fish.
18 years ago. 18 years ago. That happened.
There are high schoolers. There are college freshmen that
that's why I totally
don't know they live in a post Arthur Treasure.
like I get it. Like when guys walk around with like the Vietnam veteran hats and like think that's all they can think about. Like that's my personal Vietnam. I
don't know if you should compare yourself to Vietnam.
No, it's okay. My brother's a veteran.
I'm imagining you walking in the park in a couple of years, much like Vietnam war vets do nowadays with their hats, but yours is like 8 Arthur stretchers in 2004.
I survived Arthur Treacher's June 04. Union City, New Jersey.
All I got was dysentery in this t-shirt.
These kids today, all they want is their damn participation trophies. I was there.
Yeah, Uncle Chet just, telling the grandnephews, great Uncle Chet telling the grandnephews, don't eat at Arthur Treacher's. If everyone ever tells you that Arthur Treacher's is your best bang, run from them. Call the cops on them.
I remember when we lived in precedented times. Certain times.
Do not let Uncle Chet watch the kids. They
you guys know
they always come back haunted from the fish.
Hey, you guys know what a bottle rocket does?
Honey, we gotta stop leaving the kids with your Uncle Chet. Why? He's great. I turned out fine. Sure, you turned out fine, but I don't want our kids to turn out like you. I want them to do better.
I bet you if we take the stick off and leave it in that basket of Arthur Treasures, it'll go boom. But back to the match.
Back to the match.
Oh, there's a match.
The amount of fish puns that Don West and Mike Tenay squeezed in there. And when Don West hit that Boston Crab one, he was so proud of himself.
He's like, "Oh, I know this one. I know what a Boston Crab is."
It's the fucking Ken Griffey Jr. fucking gif. Out of the park.
He knew he peaked right there.
Yeah. Like he was cackling before he's like, you know what, Mike?
I'm putting this on all my future job applications.
Shark Boy's in a Boston Crab.
Not even in the.
They both were trying to not go so hard with it, and then Mike was like, I'll say it. Holy mackerel!
It's so good. It's so bad. It's so good.
The best part, there was multiple. Like this is comedy wrestling at its finest. Like
I think. How is it that Shark Boy was the furthest one from the fish the entire match?
Well,
Bubba and what's his face was the only ones who were actually using the whole stand.
Well, yeah, I need the guy that's dressed up as a shark to take a bite out of the fish.
Well, that's the thing. Hold on, so that's because he's the worst worker of the four.
Oh,
and
100%.
And Bubba and probably Devon didn't want to do anything with the fish. Like he didn't want to take some of those bumps. Bubba was tongue. He was cunnilingussing the fish.
Oh yeah.
He definitely suggested the match. He was like, "Hold on, this guy's dressed like a shark, right?" Fish market.
Devon before the match was like, "I'm not fucking selling. I'm not taking a fucking bump. I'm not doing any of this fucking shit." And Bubba's like, "I will eat a fish on live TV. I will stick my tongue down its fucking throat."
The fact
Devon's like, "You got to stick me with this shitbag the entire match," and I'm expected to. No.
Well, what if that was like the agent comes up to him? All right, guys, what do you guys want to do? And Devon and Bubba are like, well, I don't want to. Neither of us wants to work with. I don't want to work with Shark Boy. He's the drizzling shits, brother. And it's like, well, one of you has to. It's a tag match. Oh yeah, all right.
They rock paper scissors. It's like, all right.
I was like, well, I want to eat a fish. You got to do something here.
Yeah, like
loser got to wrestle Shark.
He's like, look. You can take. He goes, I'll take. Devon's like, I'll take Shark Boy. You do the fish bumps. And Bubba's like, fuck it, why not? Because like he gets to work. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, I worked with Christopher Daniels, who is a good worker.
Oh, he's a great worker.
But also, like, there's so much in this. First, the pre-match package where they're breaking down like what they eat. And they're like, we got fudge, like, because the whole time, like,
that was definitely the best part.
They had to stay under 275. If they weighed over 275, they would be fired. This was the last match. They had to do it. and so they're dieting for it. They're making sure they make it. And like, Bubba's like, if I can't eat my chocolate cake, you can't have your ribs. Like,
they were definitely not 275.
Hell no. No. Devon's right arm was 215. All right, like
his traps were they were 220 minimum.
If I didn't see the shine of the lights off of Devon's necklace, I would have thought it was painted on. There was no space between his neck and there was zero. It just.
I think he left it on one day and he just.
I can't take
just forgot.
It started growing around it like a tree.
it won't come off.
Devon, from his upper chest up. Just looked like a freak of nature. Like, definitely some steroids, definitely just eating raw meat. But he did have a little bit of a belly on him. But he was
look. That was peak Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle. They were not drug tested.
Oh heavens, no. And then Bubba was chunky.
He's fat.
He's fat. That is like. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, until he got.
But from at that
then
point,
when he got into the Bully Ray thing shortly after, it was like when he actually was like, "Oh, I could lift these weights are for lifting, huh?"
I don't have to eat them.
Oh wait, if I lift more weights, my paycheck goes up. Interesting. Like interesting. And then that was just funny because then he'd be like tagging The Rock, being like, "What are your calves looking like?" like I get like that'd be like texting your old coworker that you haven't like seen in years. You're like, "Hey man, how my calves looking?" Like, yeah, remember that time? Remember that one spot time we did? Like, oh yeah, we did.
I think who are you?
You were nice to me when I was a kid. Thank you. Now don't ever send me this message again.
And then The Rock's just like, hell yeah, brother. Love to see you working out. Yeah.
Please lose my number.
I don't want to be reminded that I was a wrestler. But I'll keep doing my wrestling mannerisms, obviously. But I won't want to be
kind of trying to, be a tooth fairy here. Can you not?
Listen, I will wear old British khaki T-shirts in every movie and pretend like I'm a wrestler, but never acknowledge that I'm a wrestler.
No.
That TV show about Young Rock, that's actually all fake.
Dog, the fact that season 2, The Rock just said has been phoning it in. He just tries really hard and then he's phoning it in, which I almost respect a bit.
Yeah, dude, listen, that check still clears.
That's very carny of him. Like that, the wrestler is still strong.
Oh, it's in his blood.
Like,
yeah, that's
like Young Rock. We're gonna make sure everything looks pretty damn good, and I'll even get Becky Lynch to be Cyndi Lauper. Hell yeah, season 2. Random black guy who isn't actually a wrestler. He's just there.
Chad Frost?
Chad Frost. I remember seeing the clip of I'm like, dog, who the fuck is that supposed to be? The closest I can think of is that's a really bad Ahmed Johnson with all that denim on.
But it's just a way to double bury Shawn Michaels for being a piece of shit to him.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, who's a piece of shit to me?
We're not even going to acknowledge him. We're going to make him a black guy, and now you got to Google what the fuck Chad Frost stands for.
Yeah, right. Like that's the thing. He's like, man, I can't talk about how bad a bad guy Shawn Michaels was. He's reborn. Meanwhile, Shawn Michaels, I was a dick, man. I fucking sucked.
I was an absolute piece of shit to everybody.
Like I was not okay, and I was horrible. Like,
God punished me. Look at my eye now.
It's like, well, he's not going to punish you yet. Like, that's just genetics and pro wrestling, brother. Like, yeah. Have I ever, John? You ever hear the story of how Shawn Michaels was seeing another wrestler's girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, high school sweetheart? And then had Kevin Nash stand outside the locker room to tell him that neither Shawn Michaels or his longtime girlfriend were in there canoodling.
And you just hear bang, 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 bang.
Meanwhile,
bang.
7-foot Kevin Nash telling a 5'6" Chris Candido, "Sorry, Chris, Sean's not here, and neither is Sonny." Meanwhile, you can definitely hear Kevin's like, "I felt bad for lying to the guy, but you know? Sean was the top guy. It's like, what the fuck?
Sorry, brother.
Although Kevin Nash finding out that when Pillman passed away, that neither Triple H or HBK like came out and did the for the 10 bell salute.
Yeah,
like he was like, "Dog, what? That's fucked up." And it's like, dude, those are your friends. Like,
yeah,
like
buddy, company you keep here.
Yeah, like I know they're both somewhat different people than they were back then, but like, how did you not know about that? Like, Jesus Christ. Johnner, what was the spot of the night or the spot of the match for you?
I mean, I guess when Bubba 3D Devon,
It's pretty good
at the end
because it ended.
It was done.
Chet, what about you?
The powder spot that led to that 3D that led to the end. I have never it was a lot of powder in the man's hand. Not a drop on his intended target. Either intended target.
Yeah,
the actual target or the guy in the work of it he was supposed to
dissipated in air.
Fucking completely missed.
Not a bit. Not an ounce of it. My favorite was the fishing spot. When Curryman takes the fishing pole, puts a ding-dong on the end. If you don't know, like a tasty cake ding-dong. Not like a ding-dong the wrestler or a ding-dong like a dildo. Puts it on a fishing hook, and then he's drawing in Bubba Ray with it, and Bubba Ray selling it like he's been on a diet for like 2.5 weeks, so like
he can't eat ribs.
He's like, oh man, I just want that so bad, and he's like grabbing it and doing the fish wiggle on the steps.
Okay, that was really good. I kind of forgot about the fact that Bubba Ray is the only one who actually cared about this match.
Yeah.
Oh, he said it.
Because I think Johnner went through the same exact thing I went through, where it was like, as quickly as the information comes in, I'm trying to delete like 3 things ago.
You know why that can't? I disagree with you, Grump, for that being the best spot.
Why?
They ruined the whole thing. They cut away.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Dunn's spirit was strong with that production that night. And they were like, we're gonna go to Devon being slammed into the barricade because they're just half-assed throwing punches and have to do something.
I've never seen a more shitty worker than Shark Boy on like a national broadcast.
He looks like Johnny Gargano, right? Like if you look at Johnny Gargano, you're like, oh, that's
Shark Boy.
That's Shark Boy. But like at least Johnny Gargano actually wrestles pretty goddamn good. Shark Boy couldn't throw can't throw a right hand, couldn't throw a kick. The fucking neck breaker he tried on, he could have just severed his entire.
Like I said, it looked like Rick Rude trying to break a jobber's neck in 1988. That was dog shit. Like that's one of those, like you get to the back and you gotta have a talk. Be like, yo man, what the fuck was that? Like, you're supposed to roll your shoulder a little bit here.
The fish were too heavy for him. Like late in the match, he's trying to climb up the Team 3D. They have their spot, the what's up, and they headbutt into the dick. And they Curryman counters Bubba, and he takes a fish to the dick. But like Shark Boy had to get to the second rope, and he was like struggling because he needed 2 hands to hold it. Like you are a professional wrestler. It is at most a 20-pound fish. You can't hold that in one hand. He was leaning to the side,
dragging the fish on the ground like
like a kid pulling over. I'm leaving.
I'm gonna get this. I can do it. I can't hold it. I don't need help.
I also, what really stood out was during Curryman's entrance, the one guy who was having the most fun I've ever seen anybody have at a wrestling match.
Oh, he loved it.
Ecstasy.
Oh, he was
100%. He was on ecstasy.
He said, "I love Curryman." Yeah, and Curry. he's like,
he's dancing with him.
He's so good. He was very happy to see Curryman, and like to the point where the cameras, they had to get a cameraman to get a close shot on that row so they can get that guy up close. Hilarious.
There was a moment in the beginning where they were going through the crowd and they showed the 2 women with the ponchos doing the hand gestures. I didn't know what those hand gestures meant. And now that I know, they're just referencing Shark Boy just doing no, not that. Where like they had like
no, they were doing like the curry man. Yeah.
Oh, they were doing the curry.
No. Put your hand in the seat and just shake it up and down in front of your face. That's what they were doing. I did not know what they were doing.
I have to find that. I'll have to watch that back because I missed that. But
it's very in the beginning. There's just two women in the ponchos and they're just shaking in their face. I'm like, what are you? Jesus this is for kids.
Like I said,
no, it wasn't.
That was the beginning of that match, and I was already trying to delete what was going on in my brain.
Bubba Ray like fighting the way like this is unfair. We're not fat. These women in Richmond, Virginia are fat. It's like
that's a smart play. Target the women.
Yeah.
And then
Bubba loves trying to get the like 80s heel heat. It's like Jesus Christ, we're still doing this.
Like he loved
that was at that time, yeah.
Like, I mean, in the 90s, he had bingo halls.
Those promos that he was cutting in ECW were vicious.
They are brutal.
Like legit challenging people to come up and like fight him about it too.
Yeah, was it Xavier Woods telling the story? Somebody from like the Atlanta area was talking about the time that they went to that their parent took them to an ECW show, not knowing that it's not like other wrestling. And Bubba like getting on the microphone and like being Bubba Ray Dudley,
like absolutely motherfucking the crowd.
Yeah, and
that was like the lightest language he used.
And their parent being in fucking horror that their kid watches this. Meanwhile, it was their first ever ECW show. Their parent, whoever the parent was, like their mom, I think it was mom or maybe aunt, took them because it was wrestling. And they knew that he loved wrestling. So he'd never seen ECW, so he goes there and it's fucking Bubba Ray's calling everybody motherfuckers and begging people to come in so that he can whoop their fucking ass. Like, good lord.
All wrestling's bad at that point.
Yeah, right? Like, again, Joel Gertner, one of my favorite, like, acts to never see television. Because him just continuously rhyming that he just fucked women in the town that they are. Like, talking about, like, oh, we're in Orlando. Like, she made my Mickey Mouse cream. Like, while I, took her down the screen,
Yeah, he was the prototype of that. She blank on my blank till I blank.
Afro Man stuff right there.
Yeah. But like, it was entertaining because it's like, this guy is not an attractive looking guy, but he's the
a big fat zone and neck brace.
A feathered neck brace. And just calling himself the quintessential stud muffin.
And a sport coat and no shirt.
Just absolute degenerate looking. Like, like this man, I want to see if I can find like Joel Gertner like quotes, like transcriptions. Wait, hold on. The man who drove Beulah McGill. Wait, hold on. Where is it? Well. Put those floppy disks away, because here comes the man with the biggest hard drive in professional wrestling. Joel, I've got more RAM than you can handle. Gertner. What a niche. Like, Joel, I can't have your pudding if you don't eat your. You can't have your pudding if you can't eat your meat, Gertner.
Jesus.
The man who is so big he can't help from hurting her, Gertner.
Okay.
The late 90s.
Joel.
I don't know if you guys are old enough. The late 90s were just.
I was.
I'm old enough.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember. I was there.
Okay. I don't. Yeah.
I was there.
I didn't idea. Sorry, I didn't idea. Those were what we're going to refer to as precedented and certain times.
Joel, bigger and better than the Titanic, because only 400 women went down on the Titanic. Gertner. Joel, put your lipstick on my dipstick. Gertner.
Ours.
Yeah, the man who drove Bill McGillicuddy into the mat so hard she didn't know whether to urinate, defecate, or ejaculate. I present to you Bubba Ray Dudley. Oh, here's a good one. The girls like to call me Fred Flintstone because they love the way I make their bed rock. That's a good one. That's solid.
That was used in a song.
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
We're not saying he's original.
Holy shit. I've busted more nuts than a peanut factory.
Nice.
I'm going to read this one before I say it out loud because I want to make sure. Okay. The quintessential stud muffin, the man whose wit is more tongue-in-cheek than a lesbian orgy. Joel, the man whose phone number is on your girlfriend's speed dialer because she loves the way I 69er, Gertner.
Ooh, that was...
Christ.
That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah, just absolute, like, Jesus Christ. Known as your daddy in 50 states, Gertner. Jesus. All right. It is I, the quintessential stud muffin. Joel, this girl I wanted to see the show, live here in Connecticut, so I told her to bend over and I'd show her where to stick it. For 45 minutes, she proceeded to tease and please and lick it, but when it was all said and done, I made her buy a ticket. Gertner. I mean, look, that's a... There's an OJ one. I'm not saying...
Hard pass.
Hard pass on the OJ one. The lyrical miracle, the sexual intellectual. Yeah.
Fucking Eminem ass right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, they were like Joel Gertner was like in terms of like ECW, like I said, greatest acts, one of my favorite, I should say, to never make TV because almost every act makes TV. So the fact that he kind of wins it by default. Like hell, the BWO made it to national television. Like, talk about fucking parodies.
You know, as great as Paul Heyman is, like there's no denying the greatness of Paul Heyman. But there were some points where you look back and just go, "Oh, he was just flinging shit at a wall, see what sticks."
Yeah, because he was fucking broke. Like, like, something make me money, please.
He would have run Curryman and Shark Boy versus the Dudleys in an old fashioned fish market brawl in Richmond, Virginia, known shore area, Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, right. Like have that in like Boston or have it in like Seattle, like
Florida. Florida, where you're from.
Hell, might as well, Richmond, Virginia, might as well have had it in fucking Fargo, North Dakota. Like,
You expect them to like plan out where they're gonna be at when they come up with these? Like,
no, not at all.
No, in TNA, absolutely not. There is zero plan.
It's fun to hear like Jeff Jarrett talk about like this time in TNA because he's like looking at it back in hindsight, but then he's also like, I thought it was good, and then Conrad's like, I mean, sure. Let's go with that. But then he's also like, yeah, but watching it now, I don't know what we were thinking.
Jeff, I mean, I don't want to, joke out about addictions, but it's like, how hard were you drinking then, Bubba? Because this was not good.
Yeah, no, he was, Jeff Jarrett's been, like, he's obviously clean now. And
I think that's awesome for like.
And but it's also like this is like on the cusp of like TNA becoming really fun. Like there was a point in TNA 2009 is where AEW like 2021 was, where everybody's like, wait a second, this is pretty fucking good. Hold on, like there's a lot of really good talent in here. These storylines are pretty good. All right, like, and then they're like, Dixie Carter's like, fuck Jeff Jarrett, give me Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like.
And we're going to a four-sided ring. The one thing that made us different from everybody?
Yeah. Like, get rid of everything that made us feel unique. Like, Jeff Jarrett's like, we can just be an alternative. Like, we don't have to compete. And Dixie's like, we're going to compete. Like, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
We need the owner to be on TV.
It's because she had Russo in there being like, bro, you got to listen to me, bro. I invent this dog called, bro.
Here, it's so wild because it's like, at that point, Jeff Jarrett, who was pretty good friends with Vince Russo, was like, "No, Vince, like you're wrong. Like this is not the direction we need to go in."
Everybody agrees you're wrong.
Yeah, and then they bring in Hulk Hogan, who at the time was still suing Vince Russo for defamation and
for the Bash at the Beach.
For the Bash at the Beach, and they're like, he's like, we got to compete with WWE. And Dixie's like, yeah, let's get Hulk Hogan. He goes, wait. Let's not go there. She goes, no, yeah, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. Well, Hulk Hogan, and as the story goes, Hulk wasn't going to go unless Bischoff came with him because,
of course,
he didn't trust anybody but Eric Bischoff at that time, and
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I mean, Vince did him wrong. Russo, Vince McMahon chose WWE over, so
him
rightfully so.
How dare this man choose his company over me? Son of a bitch.
I helped him make this company. It's like, well, yeah, but you were there for 10 years, and then at this point it's 30 years. Like, are we really... Like, at this point, the time has passed. Your time has passed.
You're a warm body. Remember we tried to fit the Ultimate Warrior into that spot?
Yeah, we were willing to do that. And then when that didn't work, we said, we're just going to go with the antithesis. Bret Hart. The guy who can wrestle.
We do not slander bitter Bret in this household, I'll tell you that right now.
Look, Bret Hart, incredible. Bret Hart in 94, there was some rough promos. Some of the roughest promos, but hell, man, he's like, yeah, let me work with Hakushi. He's like, that guy, I want to work with that guy. He doesn't even work for us. Get him.
It turns out he's 5'8".
Yeah, I don't care. I'll make him work like he's 6'2".
And he did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're like, all right, but we're going to need some WWE in it. Lawler, keep being yourself. Just keep hating Bret Hart. Like, all right,
yeah,
because it worked when Heenan hated Hogan. It's like,
yeah, it did, but
yes, not because it was a color commentator hating the face of the company. That's not.
That's not how it works.
It's because he was Bobby Heenan, and it was Hogan.
Listen, Jerry, just do what we tell you. We need to use your territory, the USWA, to when guys come back from injury or when you try out matches. We'll send them down there for you. We'll throw you a bone. We'll throw you Shawn Michaels once
in a while. Meanwhile, you're at the book King Mabel. Good Lord. So for the Fish Market Street Fight match, right? I think we got most of the. Oh wait, they were using the fact that they were using the fish like they were fucking
steel chairs,
sledgehammers, and steel chairs. Meanwhile, Curryman was the only one who had a sense to throw it. Like he's like,
yeah, these are checking the crowd.
I was gonna say, and then Bubba Ray, once he started getting the advantage, just taking the smallest fish and throwing it into the crowd.
He threw a big one. I think the first one he threw a big one.
He fired a fucking striper into the crowd.
And then he was throwing the smaller ones, and we're like, hey, look, you know what? Maybe it was old fashioned. These people came prepared with poncho. Chet was having a horrible time envisioning himself being in that crowd, though. I know that much. You get hit with some just fish.
I mean, that wouldn't bother me. I've lived within 5 miles of the ocean my entire life.
Could you imagine buying tickets to the show, not realizing what's going on, and you're just sitting next to the stands of fish?
And the worst part is, knowing TNA, they wouldn't have let out any sort of advance notice.
No, they actually I want to say a month before, there was supposed to be a barbed wire match in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, and the commission would not approve of it. So they had to film, they knew ahead of time, but just in case that they didn't change their mind, they went and recorded it. So they filmed the match in Orlando, advertised that it was still happening in Greenville, South Carolina. The day of the pay-per-view, confirmed that it was not being they weren't getting approved of it. Didn't tell anybody until live during the pay-per-view when they had somebody. They just had Jeremy Borash hey, because the athletic commission won't approve and allow this match, we're gonna go live to Orlando to watch the match. And it's wait, isn't that the crowd from 3 weeks ago?
I know that guy.
Yeah. And it's Jesus fucking Christ. It's a fucking mess. And it's just shoot, one step forward, 2 steps back until 2009, where they started taking 2 steps forward and no steps back, with the Main Event Mafia.
Which people are I don't like it.
I thought it was great, man.
It made sense.
When it was the main event Mafia versus the Frontline versus the World Elite, where they're just like, it's like Eric Young, Doug Williams, and they're just like, fuck you guys and you American scumbags. Like there's more wrestling than North America, like American wrestling. Like we are the best.
But the fact that we got Black Snow,
Booker T, yeah. Oh, Booker T, stopping him. Black Snow.
Booker T said the Boston Creed with that thrust kick.
Main Event Mafia just sounds like a gang name for RP2. It's so funny.
It was so good, man. When you're just like, wait, they want to do a mafia bit, and they're just in the main event. They're a bunch of main eventers. Fuck it, just call them the main event mafia. Like just lean into the bit a bit, and you're like, this is pretty dope, you know. And then Scott Steiner's afraid of Samoa Joe
because he's fat.
You got this fat son of a bitch. Joe, hey, Scott, calm down. I know, hey, he's fat.
TNA to me, like TNA it's just gifs and memes at this point.
Well, yeah, because a lot of them.
I've been told that Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels match is incredible. I'll pass.
Look,
should have been a meme.
I will show you it at one time, Chet. I will show you it because it is. There is a reason why I say that 2005, like where you say 92 is the best year. 2005 to me is the best year in wrestling history because you have that match. Ring of Honor is going pretty strong. Like Bryan Danielson's, is starting to really pick up.
That's when he had the series with Nigel McGuinness, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe that's when him and Nigel McGuinness had 3 matches in the course of the year that were really fucking good. WWE, like WrestleMania 21 is like a top 3 paper, like WrestleMania to me.
Yeah.
HBK's on one all fucking year. Kurt Angle's towards the end of his WWE career, but he's on one. The rise of Cena, Batista. You still have Eddie. We get the Dominic Mysterio custody. Like it's such a bad fucking story, but it's so fucking good because it's Rey Mysterio and Eddie fucking Guerrero.
The matches.
Where the fuck is Vicky? Orton and Undertaker have their feud going on all year. Like it's a really good year, and also that's the year where Vince McMahon tears his quads. We're coming down to the ring. but no, like TNA being just being kind of remembered as like a bunch of memes is kind of sad because it's just like I really liked it, but I mean that's what happens when your good stuff gets buried by all the fuck ups and
there's so much bad there.
There's so like Scott Steiner single-handedly kept that company being entertaining because they just let him be Scott Steiner. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're gonna tell him no?
Look, the Steiner math promo was incredible, but he was just on one for his entire time there, where he's just like, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to say. Where he's just like, when they do the main event Mafia taking over Impact for a week, and he's the ring announcer, and he's like. Coming to you from your local Krispy Kremes, weighing in at 3 tons, fat ass, and brother.
When he the clip of him announcing the referees, and he goes, "Wait a second, they both got 2 first names."
It's so good. And then Kevin Nash trying to play it as straight as possible, and just breaking every time Scott says something. Like, he's trying to be a legit play-by-play guy. He's like, yeah, this is great.
His name was Chet something, too, right? Chet Lemon.
Chet Lemon, yeah. Here with Booker T. Why the fuck are you Chet Lemon? It's hey. Because it's like Kevin Nash is a fucking hilarious dude.
That just naturally hilarious.
Yeah. So, you were right, by the way, Chet. Shark Boy and Curryman did win. Although, would you say that... I'll leave it up for you, Chet. Would you say that John was also correct in that no one came out of this a winner?
No. This did nothing for nobody's career. This did nothing for the fans.
You don't think this did something for Johnny Devine? Florida's... I want to see where... I want to see where this fucker is from.
I'm going to say Pensacola.
All right, let's see. Oh, no. Quite the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Merritt, British Columbia, Canada.
Really?
Yep.
The Florida of Canada.
Build from Winnipeg. Yeah, he's from British Columbia. That's like the California. It's like the
same thing.
Trained. Oh my God! Trained by Bruce and Stu Hart. He's a fucking no. I mean, he's a.
What year? I need to know what year because Bruce Hart was running scams for a while there.
He began training in August '97 in the famous Hart Dungeon under Bruce Hart. Under Bruce Hart, debuted. He debuted facing gorgeous Vinny Vegas, not to be confused with Kevin Nash's Vinny Vegas. He joined Resurrected Stampede in '99. And then in 2004, he debuted in TNA as part of Team Canada, taking part in the TNA X Cup. That's something I need to do. I want to do like a series on that because the X Cup was so fucking cool to me. Because
they tried to, that was like one of the few things where they actually were like, you know what? Remember how the Super Juniors were good in the 90s? Let's try to do that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, now mind you, at the very first one, they did Team USA, Team Mexico, and Team Canada. And then they're like, what if we just didn't what if it was just Team TNA? We're not, because then we get guys like fucking Rod Steele, Bruce Steele, and Frankie Capone.
Two guys named Steele, Jesus.
And Frankie Capone. None of those three have
after
Wikipedia
2005.
Yeah, no. Jesus Christ. But yeah, all right. So everybody was a loser here, even though. Okay, I'll leave it up for you guys. I have my. I thought it was great, but also, I like you said, Chet. It's terrible, but also. We love when Brock Lesnar was going to use a front loader wrestling match. Like,
greatest day of my life. The funniest thing I ever seen. Never had more fun than I did in that moment.
You gotta take the bad with the good, and if that means I get to watch a man drive a tractor front loader into a ring and lift said ring in front of 40,000 people. I will take as many Fish Market Street Fight matches as possible.
Oh, way she goes, Ricky. Way she goes.
Way she goes. Chet, final thoughts on the Dork Side today. Your final summation of the Dork Side.
I understand why TNA has always struggled.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stigma surrounding it, but like, you look at that and you go, huh. The greatest tag team of all time. Getting their asses kicked by a glorified indie worker in a shark costume pretending to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. And probably the greatest guy to never be on WWE television. Wearing that fucking, I don't know, a sort of a bowl of curry? I don't know.
A fat paprika head.
Oh, yes. As Bubba Ray said, a fat paprika head. I've seen some terrible things in my time. Again, I grew up in the era where everybody had an occupation. I rooted for a man who repossessed cars for a living because I thought it was fun. And this, my friends, absolutely worst thing I've ever seen in my life. At least the Repo Man was a good worker. We knew him as Smash from Demolition. Fucking Christopher Daniels, I understand now why he was never in WWF. Because they would just go, hey, Chris, send us a tape of what you've been doing lately. And he sends that bullshit over.
But you don't have to go that far, do we?
That's why it's funny when people are like, Vince McMahon doesn't like pro wrestlers. And it's like, or like he only wants comedy. He wants... Dog, if that's the case, Christopher Daniels would be the guy in WWE because he did Curry Man. Like, as soon as they did Curry Man, they'd be like, God damn it, hire him and keep that man.
Yeah.
But no, that's why it's always like, you can't be like, oh, he was too small. Yes, but he was funny as shit.
So was everybody.
Yeah. John, what about you? Sum up your appearance today on the Dork Side of the Ring.
If you have dreams and aspirations in life, watch that match to realize what it feels like when your dreams and aspirations just die. Just know that, you wanted to be something in life, and that's what you did.
Made it, Ma, top of the world.
I'm going to be on TV, Ma. I'm going to be chucking fish at people. Don't call this number again.
I used to have a son.
I've never had a child. Nope.
Don't come home.
I've had an abortion once.
Mm-hmm.
After 9 months.
Is it too late to get? Is it too late for Shark Boy to be aborted? Probably.
Ma'am, the baby's in my arms.
Oh yeah, and also
I asked the question.
The fact that the shark did not take a single bite of fish, that pisses me off to no end. Because I've seen shark bites on dead striper.
Look, Bubba Ray did. Bubba bit the shit out of one. He said, "Arr!" And then immediately needed some water to spit the taste out.
Yeah,
I can't blame him.
No, I don't blame him. Also, him terrorizing the entire production desk behind Mike Tenay and Don West and the guys behind him. The guy had the board and he's like, shit, don't get fucking.
No.
Bubba definitely was. He was definitely the highlight of that match.
No. Oh, man.
He was the highlight, but even he can't.
MVP.
As big as he is, he couldn't carry that match. That was just.
No. Look again. If the camera didn't cut away for the payoff of the fishing pole spot, it would have been like why not use the oar more? They had that oar. Like also like what? I feel like they used every like fishing thing, but not a fish market thing. Like where's the asshole who's got too much like shit in his hand and he's falling over?
They broke the budget by just getting those fish stands. You think they're going to afford people to actually be there to be fish market people?
Yeah, I need a white tee, a white apron, a toothpick in his mouth. Like, all right, here's what you want to do. Every fish market has that guy.
Yeah,
missed opportunity having. Bentley should have been dressed as fishermen when they came out. Missed opportunity.
Where was the guy hawking bootleg DVDs? Where was that guy?
No one got mugged.
Yeah. I want a guy out there that looks like the Gordon's fisherman, or at the very least, give me a guy that looks like the guy from the '90s New York Islanders jerseys.
Hey! You're about to cross the line.
Listen, I'm not going to talk foul about the Islanders of that era. I was a big Pierre Turgeon guy.
I'm not a sports guy, but it's in my blood.
Fair enough.
Johnner's like, I have no affiliation, but for some reason I'm feeling defensive.
They're my team. I'm just saying. I would.
You come into my home and disrespect my team.
I was raised being. That's the team to root for. What do you want from me?
Right.
Listen, like I said, I was a Turgeon and a Brian Berard guy.
Look, I understand.
I just don't want the Islanders mixed up with the fish market. That's all.
Don't bring them. There's no need
to the fish market match.
Leave them alone. All right.
We can have fun and all, but come on.
We like to make jokes here, but
a joke's a joke. But
now we're getting into hurtful personal territory. John, real quick, one last time before we send the people on their way. Tell the people where they can find you if you want to be found. Anything you'd like to plug, anything you'd like to bring awareness to, the floor is yours.
Twitch.tv/genre1223. Drink water.
Good call. Drink water. I am parched. I probably should drink more water while we're doing this, but I did wake up at like 11. So I'll be fine. I'll get breakfast in a little bit here. Chet, what about you? I know this. No one can find Chet. Don't try to find Chet.
Don't try to find me.
Chet finds you.
If you find Chet will find you we will then find you at the bottom of a river. But if there's anything you would like to plug or bring awareness to, the floor is yours, Chet.
A couple things here, as always. Support women. Support people of color. Support trans children. Love yourselves. Love each other. Love you guys.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Thank you guys for coming on. This was a blast. I'm glad that this pairing melded together really well and was just the good shit. That good shit.
Well, I mean, you got two guys from New Jersey and a guy from Long Island here. What else could you know?
Wait a second. Hold on. You son of a bitch. I'll fucking gut you. I'll gut you like a
even
fish
people
on
from New Jersey don't want to be from New Jersey. Come on.
Wack will pay for the crimes that he has committed. Wack has done more damage.
No. You got to talk to whichever cartographer drew up that map. If that's the right person.
I need to hurt I need to hurt. Whack has hurt me more than any of the biggest haters in the court.
Whack is the silent assassin.
He really is. Are you a Thathin or are you an errand boy? As Dusty Rhodes would like to say.
Yeah.
But thank you guys.
By the time you figure out Whack hit you, you're already dead.
It's true. It's true. But thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to get you guys on in the future.
Well, love to have it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Johnner. Thank you, Uncle Chet Ripley. Appreciate you guys for coming on. I appreciate you, Dorkside listeners and Dorkside viewers, for enjoying today's and this week's episode. I appreciate it. It's in the book. Episode 80 done. Episode 81, though, that's a fun one. So this month is March. We're leading up to WrestleMania, and I'm going to have one WrestleMania thing a week, every week, leading up to WrestleMania. I'm talking about topics. We're going to be talking about some fun stuff. I don't want to spoil it in case people are listening, because I haven't recorded them just yet. But it is going to be fun. It is going to be some good stuff. I can't wait. I got 2 recordings coming up. I just got done one yesterday. Got one after. It's going to be good stuff coming up. So stick with us. Episode 81 next week will be WrestleMania. Something from WrestleMania's past. I know I got WrestleMania 14. I know I got some WrestleMania 24. Because it's 15 years since WrestleMania 24. Some good stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. Ultimately, you just got to hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review. Subscribe as well on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever your podcasts gather to for your listening pleasure. Find us on Twitter and on Instagram at DorksideRing. That's DorksideRing. I appreciate it. Also, support.grum.tv is a Patreon. You got this episode early. You get next week's episode early. You can get it all there, however you want it, however you would like it. Early access or exclusive access, like watch-alongs. We did the Val Venus Choppy PP, that watch-along. That's up on the Patreon, not the YouTube, on the Patreon as well. Appreciate it, guys. I will see you guys next week, as always. You and me, we think alike. We don't take wrestling seriously because wrestling is more... wrestling is seriously better when no one is taking it seriously. There we go. That's the word. There we go. I figured it out. I'll see you guys here next week. I am Grum. I will see you guys here next week on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.